Hi. Hi. Okay. Manifestation. Magic? No magic? Okay, tell me, how many of you believe it's a pseudoscience? Raise your hands. Yes, pseudoscience. Manifestation.
I think the way it's marketed probably. I suppose it's very subjective.
Yes, so you are a little bit inclined towards it being pseudoscience, right? It's okay. So I need people to counter me, right? You just don't want this presentation to be like I give you something, and like I was in my school days, I just mentioned in the icebreaker. So whatever teacher has told has to be. So you don't want to be that, right? Okay.
I've heard about manifestation. Most commonly, when I've heard people speak about the book The Secret,
Yes.
and I've never been able, and none of them have really been able to articulate what manifestation really is. They just say, "Oh, if you really want it, the classic Shah Rukh Khan Kainat example."
Universe. The secret book says universe.
Really articulate and go beyond that and say, how can
Yes.
you really bring it down in your life? And hence, I have been a skeptic so far. I want to
Good.
have like a change of mind.
Happy to have you. Anyone else wants to share that thought?
Classic back, but then through the person.
Okay.
I feel it's either there's a pseudoscience or it's just that you start manifesting when you have the subtle and subconscious clues that it's anyway going to happen.
Okay.
So it can be a very
Good thought.
powerful process.
Good thought.
I
Yes.
just think it's like, okay, if it works, I'm manifesting it. If it doesn't work, it's like, yeah, I have to try harder. So it's like, yeah. I
Okay.
think there's like no winning that argument.
Okay, good. So now we have something.
Why are you calling it a science, let alone the pseudo part? How did you get the label of science?
So you are saying that it's not even a pseudoscience, it's just a folk tale. Oh, that's a.
Folktale I would give more credit.
It's कोई level ही नहीं है.
Level है, solo player. एक folktale पे अगर all of us believe the same thing, there's a more likelihood of it coming to life or it being true. If only I believe in it, which is what.
Yeah, please come.
So, are we all now ready to break it down and see, like, by the end of it, we can have the same discussion again and we can have all opinions, but let's see what's there on the table today. All of you with me?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, I'm a software engineer, but I'm really fascinated by what happens in the brain. Earlier, I was studying about what happens while we sleep, and now I'm studying what happens when we manifest. So that's me. So today, first we'll understand what is manifestation. If it's really just a magic, what Secret says, or what it is basically, and what neurology has to offer. Basically, which part of the brains are involved, and what do they do? How do they bring things together, and what psychology has to say about it. Okay. So let us examine these statements. You don't move towards your goal by revisiting every day what your goal is. Can you? Will you end up somewhere every time you are taking steps forward and the backward? And you're just going in a maze without knowing. Right? So that is what this point is. The next is, if you don't trust your own abilities, even if you have a clear goal, but you keep doubting your own self every single day, how are you going to reach to the goal? Every person who comes as a critic, I'll totally believe in them. No, you can't do it. Yes, you are right. So that's not how I reach the goal, right? And the third thing is, even if you have full ability in you, you have a goal and you believe in your own ability. But, however, you don't know what to do about it. You don't have any plan of action. So every day in the morning you get up and you don't know that how my today is going to look like. What are you going to do about it? Right? So all of us understand what we are talking about, but then still where is manifestation in all this, right? This is so logical. Okay, let's move on. So what happens is, if we want to focus, when we have to focus, we have to shut down all the noises that brings us down. Otherwise, there is no progress done. So there is a very famous neurosurgeon and author, Dr. James Doty. What he is explaining in his book is the manifestation is nothing, but it's the ability to embed your intention into your subconscious. And once it becomes a part of your subconscious, the brain start doing things in the background. So, but what is important here is it should become a part of your subconscious. And how do we do it? Right? So, this is a colorful brain which actually is not as colorful. But if you look at it, today we are going to focus on 3 major areas of the brain. One is this RAS, Reticular Activating System. Let's keep it as RAS. We don't need to know the word. Second is Amygdala. And I'm sure that this might be familiar terminology for many of you. And Prefrontal Cortex. This is PFC. And we'll talk about it. So, do you all agree that in today's information era, the amount of information available to us on a every single day basis is way too much than our brain was designed for? It's total overload of information. So somewhere some filtering is happening. So there is a part in the brain that we just decided to call as RAS. So that's the part of the brain. It will filter out certain things and it will only focus on certain things. Now that is where your training helps. So how do you train your brain to focus on certain things? Because you can focus on anything. Don't mind, but while you are eating, so you have to choose whether your first focus is your French fries getting cold or listening to me. So how do you give that signal to your brain? So you somewhere decide, and that is how it happens, right? So the RAS, Reticular Activating System, that's the part of the brain. It will filter it out for you, what information to focus on. And once you have decided, have you ever noticed that once you're focused on something, you'll start seeing more of those things? I am looking for a red car and I suddenly see all red cars. So why it happens? Because of RAS. Okay, and for sure, your brain doesn't have the ability to create new opportunity. No, there is no such claim. The opportunities still exist as they existed before. The only difference being now what you are paying attention to, and it is more visible to you. Right?
I think this is extremely high in mothers, right? Like, for example, a mother whose child is crying, she wakes up with the slightest of whimper of the baby's, like, something. If a train passes by also, she won't hear because she's just exhausted, obviously, she's dealing with a young child. But, like, the sound of that child's whisper, like, wide awake.
Even in another room with the door closed, that sound will come somehow. Yeah. So that's exactly what this RAS is trying to do.
Attunement of attention to that particular frequency, and everything else just gets nullified or blocked or tunnel vision.
Yes, we are just silencing the other noises and focusing on what is important that we have decided for ourselves. Okay. Follow your heart, right? We all keep telling to each other, so can your heart really think? Whose heart can think? Anyone? So basically, there is a limbic system in the brain. And inside that limbic system, one of those areas are called amygdala. Amygdala handles all the emotions. And when we say, dil se socho, think from your heart, we are asking amygdala to get activated. Okay, and what happens is amygdala handles all kind of emotions. It is not positive, it is not negative, it is just emotion. Okay, so in the context of manifestation, the major emotions that we are currently considering: fear, desire, and excitement. Either we'll be having a desire to attain our goal, we are how excited we are towards that goal, or does it scare me? So with amygdala, the thing is, any extreme intense emotion, whether it is positive or it is negative, amygdala picks it up. That is the thing it wants to focus on. So now it is up to us whether we want to intensify our positive emotion or the negative emotion. Right. So in the process of manifestation, what is happening is we are increasing the intensity of the positive emotion towards our goal. So we are making it dramatic, right? So in that case, what we are doing is we are suppressing the fear factor somewhere. Like I just said, amygdala will more focus on the emotion that is more intense. So we want to bring down and calm down the negative emotions of fear and doubt, and we want to intensify the emotions of believing in our ability and being excited for the goal, really visualizing what we are going to achieve. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay.
Isn't Amygdala the animal brain, like what happens if you reflex action, or it's sort of from what
Fight and flight? Yes, because fight and flight comes out of emotions, right? Sudden intense emotion, and then you will take an action. Yes, amygdala, limbic system. Okay, so this prefrontal cortex, PFC, it's the CEO of your brain. You have done everything. You have decided about your goal, where you're very emotional about it. You really will achieve it, but now you need a plan of action, and you want to stick to it. You don't want to be flimsy about it every morning. So this is the part of the brain command center that is what will do the main doing part. See, there is no magic. Manifestation is not magic. You don't take an action and there is a guarantee you will not get your goal.
I was betting on you saying magic words, magic.
So we are halfway, and yes, we are where we are. Okay, so we are doing structured planning, and we are doing some positive self-talk to transform our desires into real achievable goal. So this all take place in PFC. So far we had been talking about all the neuroscience. So three major components, okay, and RAS, amygdala, prefrontal cortex. This will deal with entire loop of attention, emotion, and strategic action. And each of these three components are equally important. You can't do without any of them being missing, right? So RAS will bring goal oriented information to be filtered and to be in the focus. Amygdala will associate positive strong emotions to be acted upon, and your PFC will build a plan and chalk things out so that your behaviors are aligned to your goals.
And all of this combined is manifestation.
All of this combined is the neuroscience of manifestation. Why is it not magic? Does it have a scientific basis that this is the way it really works? All right. Okay, so this was all neuroscience. Now we'll go on and we'll talk a bit about psychology. Ideally speaking, psychology is not totally separated from neuroscience, because psychology is ultimately what? Human behavior plus the brain. But
And psychology also is considered a pseudoscience practice.
no, so see, not everything will have a proof in a manner that okay, you see this color is changing from red to blue, so this is the result of the experiment. Many of the scientific studies are done by just by observing the behavior. This is the sample size, and when such and such things happen to such and such group of people, so when you keep doing the studies again and again, though the color is not changing from red to blue, though, so that is also considered a good enough scientific study, right?
So, in this sense, like for example, the whole aspect of neuroscience that we just spoke about, right? That aspect of it can come under DSM-5's label of delusions of grandeur.
Well, I don't know what you are talking
Right?
about.
That's one of the disorders of the mind according to the psychological standard, diagnostic statistical manual of all psychological disorders. What we just described so far under the manifestation example or the definition of it, essentially also falls under the delusions of grandeur.
See, what you are saying is it's a trick,
No,
right?
I'm not saying it's a trick. I'm saying
Delusion.
it's delusion.
It's a trick.
Yeah. For the outsider, not for the person who's manifesting it or who's imagining it.
No, you forget about the outsider, you forget about who is watching you. But even if you are able to trick your own mind to get the result, you get the result, right? You get the result.
Yeah.
So your brain is involved in it.
Correct. I'm with you. I'm not against it. In fact, I'm an adept at it. I'm totally down with you. Like every other sports person, if you tell him this, he'll be like, हाँ यार हम लोग तो रोज यही करते हैं. सवेरे उठो 5 बजे हम लोग भागेंगे और सोचेंगे यार मेरे को फर्स्ट आना है. He's imagining his last step across the finish line. Every single physical athlete is essentially doing this day in and day out. They will not hear the reticulation attention system blocks out the clapping, the sounds, everything. All they're thinking, where would I have to reach?
Even an act as simple as making a to-do list is in a way act of manifestation, that this is what I want to do. Right? So manifestation is very much part of our lives already. Just that when we know how things work, exactly what is the flow, we can add some more refinements to it so that we get more benefits out of it. Otherwise, we all are manifesting all the time. Yes, please.
So manifestation is, I feel like I'm already there or I'm going to get there. And I guess what you were talking about, there is focus and there's manifestation. So manifestation is that I'm going to do this. I'm going to come first. And focus is where, okay, I will do it in this way and I want to do it. So manifestation to me, what I understand is that I am going to get there. My brain has no doubt in my mind that I'm going to achieve it.
And see, to have a happy journey towards your goal, you need to be flexible. Because you need to have that ability and open-mindedness to plan and replan. Okay, you'll not plan and replan every single day, but whenever is the right time. If you are too rigid with the outcome, and your outcomes are very, very narrow outcomes, like I have to become a CEO of only this company. If you make your goal such rigid, so you are getting too attached to the outcome. It has to be broad. Yes, I want to be successful, I want to have my own company, or something very, not very specific, but little open, that keeps your mind flexible. You make your goal and then you trust your brain that it will find ways to get you reach there. But if you are too fixated on the timeline and how will you reach there, then you lose the flexibility. Right?
That's interesting. Actually, one of the things that I heard is the exact opposite.
Yeah.
The more specific you keep it, the more intense the timeline is. Like you say, okay, by the time I reach 34 years old, I want to have X number of dollars in my account. Right? I want to be rather than saying, I want to be rich by the time I'm old.
That is bound to bring a lot of disappointment, because the world is not the ideal world. Manifestation is not magic. It is bound to not work all the times, right? So,
You both are saying the same thing. She is saying it will take away the flexibility, and you are saying saying it will intensify your efforts towards it. But what she's saying is, with the intensified efforts, also it's possible you won't get it. So you might end up getting disappointed. You both are saying the same thing.
Sorry, no, I'm not saying that it's about intensifying the effort. I'm saying one of the things in this field of manifestation, the actual thing that people are saying is that you don't keep it vague. Like
The books like The Secret.
The specific measurable, the smart system, right?
Exactly. Yeah. You add in as much specificity to
Like the vision board, right? They ask you to make a vision board very specifically with pictures and all that. This is who I'm going to marry. Or this is the kind of thing.
So you can manifest the happy, loving relationship when you are married already. But to imagine and visualize this is the person I am getting married to, that attaches you to the outcome.
That will intensify the way you are thinking, energize your brain in a way.
it's like a focus, no? Like your blood है कि थोड़ा और fine tune करेगा, थोड़ा ज़्यादा blood है.
So if you are going that way, you really need to prepare yourself because it's a journey, it's not one day. So via using other mechanisms like gratitude and meditation, you need to train your mind to detach yourself from the outcome, right? Whatever is happening, it is bound to get changed. My point is,
Then we get stressed about it.
yes, because if we get stressed about it, we are actually confusing all the systems that we discussed, and we are decreasing the efficiency of all the systems how it work together. So we don't have to stress about it.
I think I'm not sure like what it's exactly saying. I feel it's kind of like in a vague idea, being too obsessed about the result and not the path.
Correct.
So sometimes it makes the path also very difficult. You are not able to enjoy the process. There is a higher probability that you might end up not reaching there.
It might cut away all the other ways you could have.
Exactly. Exactly.
Flexibility.
Right.
If you are thinking मुझे यही करना है, then you might end up missing on all the other opportunities that you could have used to reach there.
But according to her, also RAS
Yes.
will show those opportunities. Right? If it's like your focus
No, but
on
if you are very fixated on the date and on the how part about it, so then that's your focus area. It will not show you the alternatives.
Which means you're more likely to hit the goal.
But you are reducing your probability.
You're reducing serendipity of
Like how we get opportunity.
other options.
Let's say, for example, like I'm very specific. Okay, I want to get to say some job through Tarun, only through Tarun.
Exactly.
So I'm only like.
Exactly.
This is like almost dream guy.
That's why that means so you manifest holistically. Right?
I think that's what she's meaning more about like being present.
That is where our thoughts is.
Just like a easier.
You don't just say I want a job. You say I want a job and I want to be happy with my family and I want to be able to be there for this and X, Y, Z and whatever. Manifestation, I think in my mind, vision board, let's say as an example, you don't just have that one goal. Your life has to
What
play
is your
out that.
life?
So in that case, you're not stressing, because then you are, for each of those things, there will be a path. And you'll also have some health goal in it, you'll also have some kind of, that's how you would.
Okay. See, let's say we are talking about the health goal, right? You can do gymming to reach your health goal. You can do walking and jogging. You can just climb the stairs. So these are all the paths, right? When you break it down, your goal is reaching this level of health. But how you go, you make it, but you be flexible about it. You make the plan and be flexible about it.
See, if you go through the classic definition of manifestation, the moment fear pops up, your manifestation stops.
Yeah.
You have to be always positive. If the fear is coming out, the negative sentences or those are the things that you think about. You're actually going away from the goal. So even if your goal is very specific, that I want to get a job through Tarun only. In the path, when you're missing out on other opportunities, if I am bringing in fear in my head because the time is coming closer and the opportunities are weak, etc. Then again, it's anti-manifestation from a textbook definition
Yes.
also. So even if it's just a narrative, if we are saying it's not science, it's just a narrative for your brain to get adapted to a certain kind of energy. That narrative is also not working, and probably the narrative is already built in with a
Amygdala has not yet got that strong signal.
whatever. It's not a positive signal, it's a negative signal.
Yes.
So it's not working again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
I'll just give you one example just to offset what happened in your society. A good example of the same thing.
Please come on.
It's so Bruce Lee, we all know he died at 33, right? So he had written his personal manifesto titled My Definite Chief Aim. I, Bruce Lee, will be the first highest paid Oriental superstar in the United States. In return, I will give the most exciting performances and render the best of quality in the capacity of an actor. Starting 1970, I will achieve world fame, and from then onward till the end of 1980, I will have in my possession $1 million, or is it $10 million? I will live the way I please and achieve inner harmony and happiness. So there is a specificity to his goal in terms of numbers, timeline, dates, date, years. And there's a thing that भाई मेरे को harmony भी चाहिए, happiness which are not quantifiable qualities. तो आपका जो like a loosely set goal also is there, and there are more specific fine-tuned goals as well. And he achieved it. He died before he made that $1 million, but he finished shooting that film, which got him that $1 million, $10 million, and he died posthumously. He is literally the highest paid actor and world fame and fuckloads of money, all of it. Even though he died exactly before that, the movie launched, the box office hit. So post his death, a few months later, all of this came.
I have slightly pointed questions for each of you, actually, and we can obviously take it offline later. Is this a case of survivorship bias? What was this, for example, because it worked out, and hence you can look back and say, oh, he had specific goals. But does it work the other way around? Are there examples? This is I'm evaluating
Correct.
all of this in the lens of statistics. Statistics says this could be an example of survivorship bias, where because the data exists, because this person was successful, and hence you're looking at his background. And there could be other cases where the same relationship does not hold.
Which is why it is still considered a pseudoscience, because we can't replicate. We can't take 100 people and put this and say every 100 of these people, all of you are going to imagine this and come and bring it to life.
I think the entire medical science doesn't work like that. One course of 5 days of antibiotic might work on me, and for the other person next to me it might take 10 days. Right? The entire medical science is like that.
Even since you mentioned medicine, the placebo effect that we're going to speak about, it's a very huge problem when it comes to medicine industry. Because like when they have to make a new medicine, they have to try. But like once you explain the symptom, like I think what we are. So all the people they are believing that okay, I'm getting fine. So it's very hard for them to test the medicine, because half the people are just fine.
Yes.
Even with having medicine, it doesn't have any medicine.
Yes, and that is in a way a proof that just believing in that you are getting something also helps you get the similar result, right? So that belief is so important. Belief.
Really interrupting you lots.
Okay, yeah.
We have 5 minutes.
Okay, so, sorry.
That was just serious. That was not everybody to go there.
Okay. Yeah.
Now no one wants job.
So like guys, let's come back. So let's understand placebo. We have discussed half of it already. So the reason placebo works is definitely not the drug. Drug is not curing those patients. It's the belief that they are getting something which is helping them to get better. That is what is working. So why won't it work in the case of manifestation when it works on the studies for a new drug in medical science? Because brain is the same, human body and how it works is the same. Okay. Now I'll talk about some familiar terms. Manifestation is too controversial, but you also just mentioned about some of the cognitive biases. I heard. So let's talk about two cognitive biases. One is self-fulfilling prophecy, right? So once you start believing in a certain outcome, you're not doing things consciously. It becomes at subconscious level that you'll be taking actions which will make you move towards the goal, right? That's what psychology says. And another one is confirmation bias. It always happens. The political belief that I am aligned with, or any kind of belief I am aligned with, I'll filter out everything and I'll only trust that, and I'll not be willing to look at others. Yes, so that happens. The same psychological concept is applicable in the case of manifestation. So if I believe, I'll focus on it and I'll not pay attention to the negative voices that is confusing me. Right? I'm sorry, there was a content in it. Yeah, so basically this flow chart is again summarizing all the steps. We have to have a thought, we have to perform an action, and then how will the different areas of the brain contribute to it, and ultimately, let's say you achieve the goal, there is a reinforcement in the entire process. Right.
Can you please share an example, if you can, since you've studied a bunch around this stuff, that same flow chart, if you can share a few examples post the event, of course, with us, maybe through the or something. That would be really helpful to see different examples. Like it's a case study.
Okay,
like
so let me give an example of my own case, and it's a small thing. It's not such a huge thing because not every situation has to be a very huge $1 million, right? Okay, so last time I was switching a job, and I was bored of doing all the regular things that I was doing. So even if I do menial work, but I wanted to do something in the new technology, and really people were not so willing to offer. I come at an experienced level and I don't have a prior experience in exactly that technology, then how do you justify the salary? So that question always happens in the job market. But I was quite fixated that I want work from home, I want to learn at least how Kubernetes work, and I want to learn it via on job, not via courses. So what happened is, generally that is no one's uh, that is no one's way of working. I cleared interviews at organizations which was in the area of my prior work experience, and I got such strong inner voices. I might have got quite better pay of the scale of at least 20% higher than where I joined. But my inner voice, subconscious mind, it was not a very conscious thought. No, that's not good. In the long run, that's not good. I want to learn the new thing, because that is what got fixated in my mind. That even with a lesser pay, a job that teaches me new skills is better for me. The way it got fixated, that even 20% didn't matter to me. And after 2 years, when I look back, I don't have that strong emotion as I had that point of time. I probably feel that it was not that bad a situation. Exactly, not. I'm not. I mean, I could have learned whatever I learned here via online resources too. So I do believe that in a way I manifested, and this is an example of that situation.
What is the summary of it? So you manifested something, but
It was not an active manifestation, but yes, that was the thing that happened then. Yeah. So what the summary I want to say is, the way you evaluate things, yes, and you see that one is better for you versus other. So if you have that strong intention towards your goal, you will not find your merits in the other things. You will stick to what you want.
But you didn't manifest what you wanted. Or you
I want At that point of time, for sure, I wanted this.
Like a lower paying job where she would learn. And then 2 years later, it turns out she could have found other ways to learn.
So you got what you want.
I got what I want.
She didn't get the kind of money that she could have got.
I could have got an additional 20%, and that's not small.
You still acquired those skills.
Okay. So
That's the idea. So she didn't look at other scenarios.
Maybe now you can manage for next year.
अगले वर्ष से तरुण पेंटिंग
So, anyone of you today already want to manifest something?
Today, now,
Yes, Abhirat.
Can you give an example, please? What can I use to, like, what exactly are you asking me? Can you give me an example?
No, just that you got excited enough already to manifest something for your own self.
Right. Now, can you give me like an example?
I can't say that what would you desire in your life. That
he's
is,
asking, did you feel motivated enough to like
Do you have-
manifest something now?
After her talk.
I got it. Yeah, definitely. But that one intention, I'm saying, can you make it a format where from today onwards I will dash.
Exactly.
I'm trying to get like छोटा बच्चा है ना तो just
I have an example that I want to manifest tomorrow. Today hopefully, and my intention is to attract the right resources to come into place, so that I can pitch an idea to my friend to be my co-founder tomorrow. That's the idea.
What will you start? What did you get for the
Manifest it. Sorry,
सुपारी दे दो मुझे मैं जाके उसको ऐसा
Yes. I have a question. We talked about a very personal level of manifestation, but manifestation can work for a third person also. I can manifest for my friend to be really flourishing in their life, or get destroyed, whatever. But basically, the whole occult thing can also come into the same realm itself. So whatever you explained, understood for my personal manifestation process, but might not be true for other things in the same realm, which is occult, tantra, or manifestation, or third. Even Reiki. You can't explain Reiki, which people are doing as a medical stuff.
maybe that is placebo.
But sometimes you won't even know that
We
somebody
don't know.
is doing that. That's the placebo when
I
I
have an anecdote in that. So this experiment that they did with these two tongs, right? Tuning forks, essentially, and there are different frequencies, and you strike both of the tongs, you keep them next to each other. They eventually start to vibrate at the same vibration, frequency, sorry, right? And so the idea of like outside of our bodies, how do we explain this? One of the explanations is that everything is energy, everything is vibration, from a quantum physics point of view, or like molecular movement point of view. So then, if everything is energy, then if you're able to program your own thoughts, then the neuroscience part comes in. Then you're able to change your vibrational frequency, and that can affect the vibrational frequency of things around you and like other stuff. That's the explanation I've understood for how to impact other people.
Or maybe you use your PFC to make an action plan that really destroys the other person.
Then also
That
you're
can.
using your own RAS. Go inside another person.
External impact.
But still the outcome would be the what you were looking
But
for.
it can still be suicide. But if we expand it out further, we don't know.
You wanted to ask something.
Yeah. So okay. Okay. Even being open. Okay, your thoughts will change the universe and stuff. Like we don't assume that. Okay. Assume that it's scientific. Like you don't know yet how it's proven or not. But like all this, don't be attached to the outcome. Stoicism says this. It's repackaged so many times. Like Stoicism, Bhagavad Gita says this. So many religious texts say this. Believe the higher power. Stay focused on your goal. So what exactly is like manifestation? Like all this comes from so many more fundamental sciences. The Amygdala thing, CBT is how to program it to reduce the fear. So like what is manifestation?
So you pick up a goal and you channelize your energy properly towards that goal. That is manifestation. So I like to go back to the previous statement, because he is the person you can always refer back to, Dr. James Doty. So he says that manifestation is simply the ability to embed your intentions into your subconscious.
Inception.
Yeah, kind of.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? No. No.
I didn't get you.
Inception is a movie.
I haven't watched that movie.
Idea,
Can't
you can't
like
stop it.
can't imagine a subconscious head of a person without their knowledge.
Also, they have no knowledge.
I haven't watched that movie.
It's completely holistic. It's not just. So when I just
Inception as a
experiment
service.
and prove it,
Alright guys, I think we'll continue this conversation.
Okay. Yes, I am done.